Unlike Maggie. So I'm gonna play as her for a bit. I feel like people are a bit too hard on Magdalen. She's not really that bad. I think people just rail on Maggie because like she is just Isaac with a better starter kit. And she is. Like I'm not gonna deny that she is. But it's not really a bad thing at the end of the day. Like sure, she doesn't have any interesting mechanics. She is from the Flash era of Isaac, so it makes sense. Oh, that mistake didn't happen and you can't prove it did. But like she's still like, fairly good starter, even if she's an easy one. Like she doesn't really have any downsides, I guess, unless you consider not starting with the D6 after killing Isaac as Blue Baby a downside. But honestly, I think the D6 is a little overrated. Like it's not bad by any means, but I think people overstate just how good it is, if that makes sense. I think it's overblown how necessary an item the D6 is. Again, let me restate, I don't think it's a bad item by any stretch of the terms, but I don't think it's all that great. Like I would maybe should know. Don't fuck up my stream now. I'd maybe consider it like B tier, maybe a high, maybe a low A tier. No, like low B, high C is where I'd put it. Cause yeah, re-rolling bad items is fun and all, but like oftentimes they just re-roll into like a very mediocre stat up, which not bad. It's better than getting Shard of Glass or Curse of the Tower, but it's not good. Like part of me prefers the spin down die because at the very least, like you can kind of get used to what that turns the bad items into and kind of account for that when re-rolling. Alright, you can also kind of use it to break the game's like intended progression patterns by turning items into items that you are not supposed to get. Like you can get the Polaroid or the negative early if you find the right items. You can also get Dad's Note early, which doesn't really do anything for you since it can't start the ascent sequence unless you get it at the time where you're supposed to get it. But it's kind of funny that you can do that. Like, I think spin down is underrated. Another item I think is underrated is the D20. The ability to turn all the enemies in the room into easier enemies is really nice to have in a pinch. And I'm kind of tired of people kind of ignoring how actually powerful that item is. Especially for staying alive when your health gets low. Because again, you can turn all the difficult enemies who you think are going to kill you into very easy enemies. It's definitely saved my life in a few situations in this game, and led to some cleared runs in rooms that otherwise certainly would have been my undoing. A little tired. I'm a little tired. I might take a nap after the stream. Which is another reason I'm probably gonna count those wings in the 2 hours. What? What? Yeah, sure. Sorry, sister-in-law was asking me a question. Did I leave my 2 liter of Pepsi upstairs? I think I did. I'll get that later. It's not important. I don't need it right now. I got a 2 liter with my pizza order. Because, like, I already wanted some Pepsi, but, you know, they were offering it with the meal. I'm like, well, yeah, it's kind of a rip-off, the price of it. Like, it's convenient since I was already planning on getting a 2 liter of Pepsi. If I had enough bombs, I would definitely go for that red chest. Maybe we'll get number 2 from this fight. I don't know if that's in the boss pool or not. I've never looked up what the boss pool contains. There's like a certain level of research I'm willing to do into Isaac, to be honest. Like, yeah, I want to know what items do, like individually, but like, I don't need to know what the entire pool for every individual room, boss, and floor is. I feel like not having that certainty kind of keeps things a little bit more fresh. I think when people talk about, oh, the game's gotten too predictable, it's like, but maybe like you don't need to learn every single minute mechanic of every game you play. Maybe there's no reason for you to know absolutely everything about every last line of code in every game you've ever played. Maybe it's fine to let some things just be ambiguous, because that helps some things stay fresh. Games aren't designed with the idea in mind that players are going to memorize like every single possible pattern of attacks a boss can go through in their phase, or every single possible drop or reroll that can happen like on a floor, or you know what I mean. Like, games aren't designed for players to reverse engineer their code to figure out everything that could possibly occur at any given moment. And I feel like doing that leads to a lot of these people talking about like, oh, the game's gotten too predictable, or I've learned, or like I'm not having fun in the game anymore because like it's too easy to know how the boss is gonna attack, and and it makes the boss fights too simple. It's like, yeah, cause like you've unpacked every possible sequence of events that can happen in this game. Like, if you can look at the first room or the first floor and know exactly how Mausoleum is going to play out, like, maybe you've learned too much. Maybe, like, you've learned an extent to where you're so good at predicting the game, it can't possibly throw anything interesting at you. Like, I still have never looked up, like, possible rooms. Like, I don't know what rooms the game could throw at me. And I don't know what part of those rooms are randomized, and I don't want to. Like, I don't want to learn that, because that takes the fun out of it. Then I know, like, too readily what my possibilities are. And, like, does the way oh my fucking god, does the way the first floor generates affect later floors? I don't know. I don't care to know. I don't want the game to become that predictable. Again, that's information that's not supposed to be readily available to the player for a reason. Because it makes the game less interesting. Like, if you want to optimize the hell of it and it's still fun for you, like, all power to you. But if you're saying games are getting too predictable and you're a player like that, genuinely, like, try playing a game and just learning most of it for yourself and never doing all that kind of investigation. Try doing that, and I'm guaranteeing that if your problem with games is they get too predictable, maybe you're just investing too much time into learning all the minute details that you don't really need to know at the end of the day. Because does knowing every single item in every single item pool actually change anything about playing the game? No. Because it's not going to make those items appear more often. It's not going to change, like, how they load, you know? If anything, it's going to make you more disappointed when an item you want doesn't appear. So maybe it's a good idea to just live a little, you You know, to just like live with the uncertainty. And maybe you'd find you're having more fun that way. Like the gaming space right now is one that like demands that you have to super optimize every aspect of your gameplay if you want to be considered a good gamer. And like I think that's kind of toxic for enjoyment of games. I don't think everyone's built to appreciate things with that kind of knowledge. Now I'm feeling real tired. This stream might run short. This might be a single hour long stream. Uh, yeah, I've very much limited my learning about this game to what I feel I absolutely like need to know to like make progress in certain ways and achieve certain endings and what items do. Like I've limited it to that extent because I don't want to spoil it for myself. Hmm. And even then, most of me learning what items do consisted of me just playing with external item descriptions. And I've had plenty of fun. I don't need absolute certainty in all situations to enjoy the game, after all. I don't need to know what rooms are going to generate like 15 rooms ahead. I can just play the game as it's presented to me and enjoy it. Hang on. Alright, I'm gonna go get some milk. I need to wash this pizza down. I made the executive decision that the stream is ending after this run because I'm really tired. And I want to get some sleep before work. Maybe a longer stream when I get some days off, but not right now. I haven't been sleeping too well lately, so I've had a lot of real tired days. Something stuck in my tooth. So I do gotta fix my sleep schedule, I know, but it's a little difficult. When you work an inconsistent schedule of night shifts, breathing manually for some reason. Not sure what caused that. No, let's try and leverage these boys. There we go. Take a steam sail. I did go on a walk today, hoping that would give me a little bit of energy, 'cause sometimes walking does that. It kind of helped for a while, especially because I bought a Gatorade, which probably helped a lot more than the walk itself. But no, now that energy hasn't lasted, like, I do realize I probably just need more sleep. Because, like, sometimes, like, you do just need to do a little bit of activity to, like, wake your body up. Sometimes, like, I encourage, like, if you ever feel drowsy one day, try, like, taking a walk and, like, get your body into an active mode, and maybe that'll help. Like I'm telling you, sometimes activity just comes from lethargy. Not lethargy, but, comes from being sedentary all day, not really doing much. And your body's like, alright, we're not doing anything, so we're gonna go into low energy mode. And once you do something, your body's like, alright, now we're doing shit, now we're moving, we're gonna bring some of that energy back, now that we're being active. So, like, I encourage, like, sometimes if you're feeling real tired, try doing something. That didn't work for me in this instance. It only gave me a brief boost, but you'd be surprised how much just being active can wake you up. Like, you'd be genuinely shocked how effective that can be if you aren't already, like, enlightened to that knowledge. Ow. Yeah, just stay standing right there. I also bought some Maker's Mark while I was out, because I was already by the Walgreens where they sell that kind of liquor. So I decided to pick up a bottle of Maker's Mark. I've always been a whiskey man. I might do another drinking stream at some point. Not with the Maker's Mark, like that's expensive. That's for special occasions, but you know, with the Fireball. Because I enjoyed the first drinking stream. I got a little buzzed. I didn't really get drunk. Like the buzz wore off in like an hour. But I got a little drunk, and I feel like that made for an enjoyable experience for myself at least. I don't know if it made for one for viewers. I don't really rewatch my own streams. I just kind of upload them as they are. Oh fuck, that went the wrong way. Hello, little Brim. Oh. Just now noticed he was part of this equation. Yeah, that's a really fun item. I forgot what its name, but it's the one that spawns all the little familiars when you kill enemies. That's one of the more fun items that I think Repentance added. It's kind of creative. It allows you to leverage more rare things more often in a bit of a clever way that doesn't devalue just picking them up in the first place, because, you know, they're kind of locked in their positions. So you don't really get to use them to their fullest, especially because they spawn at random. So there's no telling how many times you're gonna get Brim. I'll pick it up, why not? People really hate this item, and it does lower your fire rate, but not enough to make you deal less overall DPS, so I have no problem with it. Hey, the Yellow Pills Lemon Party this time, that's fun. Sometimes I kind of wonder if pills have their own individual pools. I'm not gonna look that up. Like I said, you know, fun spoiling, but It would be neat if that's a thing. Hmm. Yeah. We're gonna cheat. We're gonna Billy Mitchell it. Oh, fuck. I just looked at the coins and we're real close to Kane. So, you know what? 2 coins? No. Oh, perfect opportunity to unlock Kane here. There we go. That's 1 and Kane. Alright. Alright, so we've now unlocked 2 characters in this run. I mean, this stream. So, already a pretty successful one. Probably gonna upload both these runs to YouTube. Another reason I'm getting more into Isaac streaming, or at least I'm planning to, is because I'm getting better at the game and runs are tending to go on a little longer, so I feel like it's a little more interesting to watch. Kane's like one of the best characters in the game, so I'm definitely going to be using him a lot now that we finally got him. I say finally, like we've been trying for a long time. Today has gone really well on the streams department. I need to try biasing myself towards Monstro 2 accessible locations. I mean Brimstone. Accessible locations. This low brim is definitely going to be most of our damage. No, fuck. Yeah, Monstro 2 is a bit of a fun fight. I like Monstro 2. Isn't like tons harder than regular Monstro, but it's still an enjoyable fight. I like a lot of the posthumous bosses, really. A lot of them, like Husk, or the one in Downpour, I forget the name of, are really creative ways of like remixing the original. Especially with the Downpour one spawning the Willows, which is a really nice touch. It's a kind of creative way of reusing low blubs, the reliance on the spawning of the leeches, which itself is like, because low blub is a drowned version of Lord of Flies. I think Repentance in general did a lot of good stuff for the boss fights, but like, I don't want to take away from the fact that this game's always had really good bosses. People give Afterbirth and Afterbirth Plus a lot of shit for their bosses, and like, sure, maybe Husk and Delirium feel a little underwhelming for what's supposed to be end game bosses, but still, I really like those. Like, I think the mechanic. Fuck, I didn't mean to run to him. I think the mechanics are still fun. Even if the bosses themselves, like, do get a bit tiring. Especially with their insane health pools. Like, I definitely see that criticism, but overall, I still like the Husk fight. Like, I don't think it's poorly designed. Like, again, I agree, maybe it goes on a little longer than it needs to, unless you have a really super, like, overpowered build. I think we're sick with Yumheart. But in general, like, I'm for it. I like doing Hush. My only problem with Hush is that Hush doesn't have a unique drop. Like Hush still has, you know, the ability to give you like 4 or 8 items, is it? There's nothing to sneeze at, totally, but it's up in my teeth. Sorry. Fuck. Keep walking into him. You know what? I'll teach you to take my items from me. But yeah, if they could just like maybe take away some of Hush's health, I feel like that'd probably be one of the better fights the game has to offer. Oh, come on. Oh, right, you can't bomb him. Forgot about that. I'll give him some bombs. I'm not gonna need him for much longer. Yeah, I'll take Bomber Boy. All you have to do is not be one of the idiots who cry about it, and also like stand directly in the path of where its explosions are going. And then act like that's the game's fault and not mine for being terrible at positioning. I always press all the reward plates, even though like there's always at least one. That's just like a trap. That is on me too. That's another skill problem. But yeah, I think Bomber Boy is actually a really good item. Like, so many people hate it because like, oh, it's harder to avoid, but like, it really isn't. If you're, I don't know why that exploded, even semi-decent. Did I place a bomb by accident, or is that just a thing it does? Like, I know it obviously blows up, but like, does it always harm you? Like, go into the mom fight with less health than I would want to. Fuck. Even less health than I would want to now. If I'm really careful with the movement, we might have enough damage to make it through anyways. I'm gonna try and keep my hand on fire. So we do have low brim. Uh-oh. Yeah! Alright, so at least we got to end the stream with a successful run. You almost undoubtedly already seen that cutscene, so I'm just gonna skip them. Overall, productive stream. I'm happy ending it here. Alright, I don't think you got a single viewer this whole time, but I definitely kept myself talking.